or good roommate, but I'm scared because now my life is fully in the hands of a system where big oil gets to decide what happens with my future and with my money. As I enter adulthood, I'll start paying taxes. Throughout my lifetime, as extreme heat, fires, floods, and droughts intensify, those tax dollars will increasingly be directed towards paying up to clean the mess the polluters created, while continuing to subsidize the very industries fueling the crisis we're all fighting to survive. The Climate Superfund bill offers an alternative, one where big oil pays for the harm it's done, so that my future and the future of so many other people who are going to graduate this month are protected. But let me tell you a little bit more about why this bill really hits home for me. When I was a kid, I was taught that if you make a mess, you have to clean it up. The same should be true of big oil. And as we speak, frontline communities and workers are bearing the cost of climate harms, including young people. But companies like Shell and Chevron keep making record-breaking profits off the backs of working people and the natural world, while draining our state's economy and conscience. It's time that big oil takes accountability for their actions. But as I grew up, the value of responsibility shone its light for me when I'd often visit the beaches of southern India to visit family. As a toddler, I loved playing in the pristine sand and splashing in the clear water. But as the years went by, my feet began to sink into plastic and debris instead of soft sand, pollution representing the purity I once took for granted. Motivated to take action against the climate crisis, I returned home hungry for solutions. The Polluters Pay Climate Superfund is a tangible remedy for young people like me, as well as people across generations like everyone you see here today, to feel secure about our futures and protect the natural spaces, especially in California, that we once took for granted. And we know big oil can pay for the cost of superfunds, since even a $100 to $200 billion total cost would be just 4 to 8% of their long-term profits. And if you can afford to drill into the earth and become one of the wealthiest industries on the planet in the process, you can afford to clean up the mess you left behind. As young people, too often we hear that the weight of the future is on our shoulders. It can be empowering at times, and that's why the Fridays for Future and Sunrise Movements campaigns are so powerful in creating change. And there's so many of you here today, so give a shout out to all the young people here today. And this is why we're so powerful, and we love the work, but it can definitely feel isolating too. The world is unfortunately just not built for young people quite yet, and to hear that we need to take the full responsibility for something we weren't even alive to create is quite frankly scary. And there's no driver's ed for systemic change, but with AB 1243 and SB 684, I'm so hopeful that we're getting close to it. These bills would be a narrative shift, proving to not just the rest of America, but also to the whole world that our state's very definition of climate solutions is rooted in justice. Because climate justice isn't radical, but making kids pay for billionaires' damages is. Big Oil knew that their actions would be of considerable significance to civilizations, their words, not mine, since the 1950s. But today, 75 years later, I and everyone here is here to call upon California's legislators to take our lives into consideration when making your choice. Due to climate champions like Assemblymember Addis and Senator Menjivar, we as Californians have a chance at survival, and I urge the remainder of the legislature to similarly recognize the urgency of the situation. Vermont and New York have already done it. They've already passed Climate Superfund bills, so give a huge shout out to them. So the world is really looking at us now to not just see what we'll do, but really be inspired by how we lead. And I really liked what one of the speakers said earlier, how the fact that California is such a creator of change and everyone is really looking at us to see what we do next. So it's really time that we start taking the energy for that. And having worked with and talked to young people from these states who've won a climate superfund for their communities, I know that we can do the same thing. It really does take people power and collaboration with people across generations. And if your organization mostly has older or younger people, ask yourself why. Who else can you work with that will bring new perspectives to and strengthen your work? Only by asking ourselves such questions will we be able to create the people power we need to make polluters pay. I I know I said earlier that I'm scared about going to college, and I kind of am, but after seeing everybody's faces here today, I'm excited more than anything. We're building a movement across generations, across communities, that's demanding a livable future and real accountability. AB 1243 and SB 684 give us a chance to finally say, if you made the mess, you clean it up. California can lead with justice. And standing with all of you today, I know that our tax dollars, our people power, and lives will build futures and not bail out polluters, because the polluters are going to pay up. Thank you so much.
Yeah.